How difficult was life in San Diego in wartime when your family members were all serving? Everybody in the community was working together to support the war effort. You know, there were no cars, there was rationing. What was life in San Diego like back then?
It was different. I mean, it was different than it is now because we didn't have to lock our doors or anything like that. We didn't have to worry about those type of things. But we had the dim out and the blackout, which was very dangerous sometimes when they turned the lights out of the whole city. And there were a lot of accidents. And the dim out, and then the camouflage buildings, all the camouflage buildings too. And, but still it was more relaxed than it is now. Because the things that are going on now.
What was it like when the war ended and the order went out that all women were basically had to be laid off so that men could go back to work? What did that feel like?
That was within days. Within days they laid us off. And we didn't think anything about it. We were happy that God blessed some of the men that were able to come back and get their jobs. And we knew that would happen. And we didn't resent it one bit. We were just happy for them. And so we went out and did other things after that.
Well, so what are some of the things you did after that?
Well, of course, I did typing. And then I decided I'd make more tips as a waitress. I was raising a little boy then. And then I did car hopping, if you remember that. Bringing food to cars until they put us on skates. Then I retired from that.
And so it was 1951 that you wanted to go back. Why did you want to go back into the airplane business?
I decided it was, that I enjoyed that more. Because you work with the crew, you were around a lot of people, and you cooperated together, you became friends. Like our last crew, we're still friends. And I don't know, it just gives you a personal feeling. And I like to be busy. I like to stand up and move around like I did on the C-17. I didn't want to sit down all day and have a job where some people like to work in these little parts and all that stuff. Thank you, no. So I was running around with my big rivet gun. And
well, I wanted to ask you about that. So in 1951, you started working for Douglas Aircraft, yes. Which was, you know, one of the world's largest
DC-8 was the first plane.
And so talk to us about all the programs that you worked on, because Douglas then became McDonnell Douglas in 1967 and then merged in 1998 with Boeing. So that's the lineage that you had. But talk to us a little bit about the programs you were working on over the years that you've enjoyed working on.
Well, they transfer different departments when they need people. So I've worked on different parts of the plane, you know. And my favorite one was working on the wing for the last 25 years.
For every single C-17 has your rivets on it.
I like the DC-9 and DC-10. I liked all those. I didn't like to work on the DC-8 because it was seal. You have to put seal in different places and very small areas for that. And I'd get it in my hair and everything else was a mess, so I didn't like that. But, all the other planes were nice, except when we had to work where the baggage area is. That was hard. That was hard on your knees to climb inside and everything, you know. But I did whatever they want me to do.
How did the technology in the business change from 1951 until you retired?
Today I was over there looking at that technology, and some of the hard parts we used to climb in areas that were so small, and this guy was sitting here holding this and pressing this, and it was getting rivets in. So it's easier when you learn that kind of technology.
You are, once a year on March 21, if I understand correctly, it's Rosie the Riveter Day. But you're working to create parks all around the country to commemorate the women who served. Tell us why it's so important to have these parks that commemorate Rosie the Riveters all across the nation.
Well, we came about when they opened the Rosie Riveter Park in Long Beach, and I was there when they opened it, and a few Rosies came, and they gave us some medals and everything, and then I started getting, oh, maybe us Rosies can do something together, and that all started then with when this councilwoman, Jerry Shispy, opened this park. And so they still have things going on there, events, military events and everything. I've been there before. So then I heard from other Rosies from other states, and we had a couple conventions, went to a couple conventions with them. So they think it's a wonderful thing, you know. And we all get together and realize that we all did something special. It took years for them people to decide we were going to do something special. Decades, because years went by that nobody paid any attention to us. And all of a sudden, I don't know what started it, but it's a wonderful thing, and we appreciate it. We appreciate getting noticed finally.
Well, I appreciate all of your guys' service, because all of those airplanes weren't going to build themselves, so
Yeah.
somebody had to work on them.
That's true.
I mean, you're probably one of the key pieces of the arsenal of democracy that built all of this equipment that let our allies, the United States and its allies, succeed in the war.